Alright, you are back with comedian David Boyle, and I'm quitting alcohol. So I was speaking to my Algerian friend the other day at work, and I started telling him about all the books I'm reading, the history books, how I'm going way back. And I remember him telling me that he started from the start of history as well, when he was younger, because you got to remember this guy is half Maori and half Berber. So he wasn't born Muslim. Berber is like the indigenous people of North Africa. What a mix, eh? Maori and Berber. Anyway, he said when he was searching for an answer, he went through everything. He said he started at the beginning of history and worked his way through everything and then came to Islam and decided Islam. I'm sure there was a little bit of a bias behind it as well, but that's what he said anyway. I was telling him about the books I'm reading, told him how I spent $900 on these fucking books, and he's like, yeah, you got to read books. You got to go through, you got to know your history. And you know, he's like 30, and this is a guy who teaches my son kickboxing. He was also like North African champion kickboxer. And he's 30, so, you know, I've read 3 or 4 history books now, and I think I'm pretty fucking intellectual. So I'm kind of like dismissing him, just going, yeah, you read a couple of books. I've read a few. I know a few things about history. Then he's like, yeah, when I was back in Algeria, I would just read everything. There was a really amazing library. It had all the ancient books. And so I just started reading. I went there every day and just read. And then he said there was a guy next door who lived next to him, a Jewish guy who noticed that he was into reading. And so this Jewish guy told him what books to read. And then finally he pulls out this book, and it's a real old fucking book called The History of Civilizations. But he's like, it was in Latin. And I'm like, oh, okay. And so he said him and this Jewish guy sat there, and he, over like 9 months or a year or something, taught him Latin, and he read through this book in Latin. And then I'm like, what the fuck? He's like, oh yeah, I can speak Latin too. I'm like, who the fuck are you? And I'm like, can you really speak it? And then he just starts busting out some Latin. To be fair, it could have just been gibberish. How the fuck would I know? But it did sound ancient, and it was a little bit scary. You know when you hear Latin, it's a little bit scary. You're like, ooh, I would not like to be teleported back in time in the dark with people speaking that language. And then he goes, this guy also taught me Hebrew, so I know a bit of Hebrew as well. So this guy knows Berber, the Berber language, French, Arabic. He knows the Iraq and Persian languages. He knows how to speak Maori. I think he can speak Latin and Hebrew as well. Anyway, after work today, because we got rained off, I don't know if you can hear it in the background, it is fucking pissing down. Anyway, after work today, I'm just having a chat to him, just messaging him. And I asked him about that book. I'm like, do you reckon you could find that Latin translation of that book? And he's like, no, there's no fucking way. You won't be able to find that book online. And he basically was saying this book has all the information. This was one of the books that led him on the way to Islam. He also said the library that he used to go to, that ancient library, burnt down with all the books in it as well, which is a shame. Anyway, he's like, nah, there's no fucking way you'll be able to find that online or anywhere. And he's like, okay, let's search for it. And so he searched for it and sent me a screenshot, but he searched for it in Arabic. I can tell because I also speak Arabic. No, that's not the reason. I recognize the script from like some of the kebab stores I eat at. You know what I mean? Like when you go to get a halal snack pack, there's some script underneath it and it looks the same as the script he sent me a screenshot of. So he sent me that and I looked at it and I don't know what the fuck it says. But he's like, nah, it's not there. You can't fucking find anything online there. And then the next message he says, let's try cheat code. And then he sent me a screenshot of this other script. He's typed something into Google search in this other weird script that I don't know. And you can tell it says like Google Scholar and all these listings of, I couldn't read it. I could just tell there was some search. There was some results. But I still had no idea what the fuck he was talking about and what the fuck I was looking at. I thought it might be Latin. So I was like, what language is that? And he sends back Hebrew. He's like, you can find anything online in Hebrew. It's cheat code. They don't block anything. I'm like, oh, what the fuck? He's like, Arabic internet is the fucking worst. He's like, they hide so much information from you. It's basically trash. You don't get anything in Arabic Google, but if you go on Hebrew Google, there is absolutely no firewalls. I'm like, that is fucking genius. You got to give it to the Jews sometimes. They are fucking smart. I had never even fucking thought of that in my entire life. You don't have to block searches or search engines. You just have to limit what you can search in certain languages. It makes sense. It's fucking genius. So that's some shit you find out. It's amazing who you bump into waterproofing. I tell ya. Koreans, Irish, Algerian Maoris who know Latin and Hebrew. But he's like, you've got to go back and start from the start of history. Just read from the beginning of history and work your way through it because you need the knowledge. And I'm like, I have a feeling this cunt knows some shit I don't know and he's not telling me. So I'm going to get reading and pretty soon I'm going to make it my full-time career. Reading, researching. I might even learn Latin myself. Considering I've got about 3 words of Spain and I've spent a lot of time in Spanish-speaking countries, I give myself a good chance of learning Latin. I think I'd be too fucking scared to speak it anyway, especially at night. Anyway, that'll fucking do it for today, and I'll see ya the fuck later.